All right. Good evening. We do not have a member of the Minister Alliance, so let's stand for a moment of silence. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Kim, do you have an extra agenda right here?
I call the March 21st, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Here.
Brandy Carroll,
Here.
Kelly Netto,
Here.
Jim Stroud, Kim Vickers, Brad Alexander,
Present.
Here.
Mayor Dana Webb.
The next item on the agenda is new business, deletions, or continuances. We do not have any of those, so we will move on to public comments. City Clerk, do we have any public comments tonight?
There are none.
Thank you. No public comments, so we will move on to the next item, which is the consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the Board of Aldermen, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the February 22nd, 2022 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes, expenditures through March 17th, 2022, and the February 2022 financial statement.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item would be a presentation, and Mr. Randall's going to talk about it first.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So tonight is my privilege to introduce and to congratulate Captain Chris Paris on his recent promotion. Captain Paris has been with the Oak Grove Police Department since January of 2006 as a part-time officer. He was hired on full-time in 2012 and promoted to sergeant in 2019. And most recently, following Captain Chapman's retirement, was promoted to captain. Just a little bit about Captain Paris. He is a true leader within the Oak Grove Police Department. He's well respected both within the community and amongst the staff. He's a natural leader with a strong work ethic and is truly an asset both to the city and to the department. And as you know, police work really is a family affair. You know, it's a tough job, long hours, long nights, and so I'm happy to see that his family is here as well. His wife, Valerie, son, Jason, as well as his daughter, Avery. I'd like to introduce them as well. So this time I'd like to turn it over to Captain Paris, who also has a couple introductions himself. Thank you.
Yes, please. Please take the floor, Captain Paris. That's the first time I've said that, Captain Paris. I like it.
I need my glasses.
I think so.
It's already Mayor, members of the board, it is my honor to introduce to you Sergeant Josh Leitner. Josh Leitner was recently promoted to sergeant, filling my void. Sergeant Leitner started February of 2004 as a part-time officer here in Oak Grove. He was hired full-time in January of 2005 and promoted to sergeant this month, 2022. Sergeant Leitner has several responsibilities within the department. Mentioned just a few of them. He's a field training officer, recently taken over the field training program where he trains and makes sure that our new officers are getting the training and task orientation that they need before they go on the road by themselves. He's the vehicle and equipment manager. He's a firearms instructor, driver's trainer. He takes care of most of our uniform ordering and several other tasks within the department. So he's definitely a very respected and needed person that we utilize a lot. He is here tonight with his wife, Christy, his daughter, Audrey, and his new son, Garrett. And we welcome all and congratulate all of them for their recent promotion. Thank you. I'd like to also just, Officer Joshua Cox, the new officer with our department, he was not able to attend tonight, but I just wanted to let you know that he's a new officer, just started within this month. We got him from another metro agency. He's a certified officer with 7 years' experience, 3 years as a detective, and he has 10 years of military service, both Navy and in the Coast Guard. So
Nice.
that's a new addition to our ranks, so we're proud to have him too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all three.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the mayoral appointment of Shane Stevens to the Jackson County Board of Equalization. I'm going to let Mr. Randall tell everyone what that person does, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
Yep. So the Jackson County Board of Equalization is an independent board composed of taxpayers of Jackson County. The board provides a forum for taxpayers to appeal their assessed valuation. The county executive appoints 3 members to serve, and 1 member is appointed by the mayor of the municipality, a location of the property in question. And 1 member is also appointed from the local school board as well. So this would fill our role here as Shane Stevens for the city portion of it. Hopefully, the school district will also appoint someone, and then the 3 members that the county executive.
Shane is a reappointment. He is not here this evening. He has already been serving for us and actually really enjoys it. So I'm asking for approval to reappoint him to the Board of Equalization.
I make a motion that we reappoint Shane Stevens to the Jackson County Board of Equalization.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Shane Stevens to the Jackson County Board of Equalization. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an ordinance approving the cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and Jackson County, Missouri for the funding of the DARE or similar anti-drug program, authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement. Would that be you, Captain?
It would be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Before you this evening is the 2022 Combat Law Enforcement School-Based Incentive Agreement for your signature of approval, which supports the Department DARE program. The Combat award of $75,000 covers the DARE officer position, educational books and training aids, student T-shirts, and additional department training opportunities. The department training has proven as an additional benefit as Combat recognizes any training for all officers benefit from the youth of the community as worthy for more than just the DARE officer position to attend. As an example, in the past year, the police department certified several officers in the safety car seat installation through the grant award. The DARE program continues to be the main law enforcement school-based incentive, and your support would be greatly appreciated. With that, I'd happy to answer any questions if you have.
Is this just the same thing that we do every year, pretty much? Okay.
Correct?
I didn't hear the question.
I'm sorry. I was just asking if this is the same thing we do basically every year.
Yes, it's just a
Okay.
renewal.
Renewal. Yeah.
Renewal, thank you. That's the word that was way gone.
Does the board
And
have
this
any
is the
questions?
ordinance.
Yes.
I move for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only.
Second.
We have a motion for the first and second reading of a proposed ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and Jackson County, Missouri for funding of a drug abuse resistance education, DARE, or similar anti-drug program, and authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement. An ordinance approving a cooperative agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri and Jackson County, Missouri for funding of a drug abuse resistance education, DARE, or similar anti-drug program, and authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement.
I move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Brandy Carroll,
Yes.
Kelly Neto,
Yes, excuse me.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
Motion is approved and the ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a bid from Solar Shade USA for additional shade structures at the Aquatic Center. Mr. Madsen?
Yes, before you is two shade structures that was budgeted for in this year's capital outlay budget, and they are 15 by 30 feet wide. They will be located on the northeast corner of the Aquatic Center, which is behind the starter blocks for where the swim team's at. These are cantilevered designs, so it'll be should provide better shade with the way the sun rises and sets. That's why this design was chosen as opposed to the other design. The colors will be the same as the existing structure, so one will be orange, one will be that charcoal. You see the competitive prices there. Do you have any questions, or?
Is there, I was kind of looking through it, trying to thumb to it right now. Is there warranty on them or anything? Or do you guys have to take them down, put them back up?
We do take the structs,
Okay.
the shade, the canvas part down or material down each season and put
Okay.
it back up.
And it matches what's already there?
Correct. The color will match, yes. And this Solar Shade company is here in Missouri, so that does help. I did also reach out to another, the company that built the pool and found out that they cannot get the shades any cheaper than what this quote is. So there was additional work as well that was done.
And it looks just the same as what's there?
Well, the triangles is what's there now. So it's a different design, but it's the same material, so it'll be the same color, just obviously new. This is a cantilever design where the other's triangles that give you that kind of a different look. But this cantilever design will hopefully give better shade protection for where the sun rises and sets, which is somewhat of a problem with the current shade structures and their location.
Where's it gonna be? Which direction?
It'll be running almost east to west, but it's on the northeast of the pool.
It'll look just like the picture?
Yes, just different color.
Okay.
Why are we doing the 2 instead of the 3?
Just the way the pricing works out, so like in the size of the pad area, so for solar shades, they have a 15 by 30, so we only need to get 2 of them because it gets to 60 feet.
Okay. I was gonna say, the 3 ones are cheaper.
Yeah, and then
Three,
the,
but if the sizing, okay.
yes,
Thank you.
correct.
Motion to approve the bid.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bid for the solar shades for the Aquatic Center. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution appointing directors of the Bridgewood Plaza Community Improvement District. Mr. Randall?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the Bridgewood Plaza Community Improvement District, or CID, includes the properties at 503 through 513 South Broadway, which currently includes the Dollar Fresh, Brew Co., Cirque Physical Therapy, and China Buffet. The CID was originally established in 2008. Under state statute, a CID must be governed by a board of directors. Directors must be at least 18 years of age, be an owner or an authorized representative of an owner of real property located within the district. Over time, the list of directors needs to be revised and updated to ensure compliance with state statute. So with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions the board may have about the CID.
And it is listed, as you notice, for who the ones are on, I don't know what page that is, but you'll see who they are and their term limits.
Yeah, so the appointments would be for Becky Floyd, Kelly Tobin, Ken Bilquist, Kevin Strucker, and Jeff Ganadine.
What's the purpose of this? Just, I mean, what do they do? Like, will they have meetings or?
Yeah, so when the CID was established, the purpose of the district at the time was described as funding public improvements, provide services, impose a sales tax, incur obligations, and fund its administration. So within that group of buildings, there's an extra 1% sales tax imposed, and that sales tax goes directly back towards that specific community improvement district. So they incurred debt for the building of the parking lot, some other public improvement needs, and then ongoing, the CID is supposed to perform certain tasks such as snow removal, general maintenance of the property. And so the Board of Directors by state statute have to oversee that sales tax. And they also are required to have an accounting of the dollars, and they send a report to the state auditor's office every year. But once the CID is formed by ordinance, they are quasi-independent from the city, but they're still, attached. Specifically, the most direct attachment is that the mayor does appoint the Board of Directors, but they do have to follow those requirements of state statute.
And we haven't had one this whole time? Or
They have had one. They have had one. Some of the members either have moved on or no longer work for the owner of the property.
Okay.
Because with the one owner, I assume they're all appointed representatives of the one owner.
Right, yeah, the entire CID is in one parcel owned by one group.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution appointing the directors for the Bridgewood Plaza Community Improvement District. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request from Kathy Mullen, owner of Weenies and Paninis Food Truck, for the third Thursday Food Truck Nights in Oak Grove, starting April 21st through October 20th, 22. Is there anyone here tonight for that?
No.
Okay.
I've spoke to Kathy.
Okay.
And I'll speak on this
Okay.
item.
All right, the floor is
So,
yours.
Kathy Mullen did reach out to us. She's going to be the coordinator for the 2022 food truck season. They are excited and interested in doing it again. They are starting earlier in April instead of June. And she's going to be trying to coordinate 3 entree trucks and 1 dessert truck for each Thursday through that timeframe. They're going to be providing the graphics for advertising on our social media, Facebook and our website. And then they also post that on the Kansas City Food Truck Association website as well. So they are just requesting to use the parking lot again from 4:30 to 8 o'clock. They have the same type of letter that they provided last year as far as having a point of contact, cleaning up their trash and things like that, so.
Okay.
I make a motion.
I have a question.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, so hold on. Did she say anything about the location? Because they didn't like the location last year. They made that vocal
Like,
several
maybe
times,
more
so
downtown.
this is where they all agreed to do it? That's what it says, I know, but,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Seems like the farmer's market lot would be.
Yeah, that'd be
better location.
ideal for it. People
Could
would
they
see
move
it.
after we approve it?
Well, we
Discuss
could, we could discuss it right now, and then Kim could contact her, and then you could bring it back for the first meeting in April to approve it for the location, if that's what we need to do.
Do they think there's just not enough parking there?
No, I think they wanted to do it with, with the city is their main thing. So she may not even know that the city owns the farmer's market area.
I do
Matt, you have something?
Why do you guys keep giving each other like secret looks? What's happening?
Who?
She didn't mention anything to me about moving the location. She said that they were excited to do it again.
I know.
I will say that Kathy didn't coordinate it last year. Taylor did.
Yes.
And Kathy is from Oak Grove, and she had 2 food trucks and has combined them into 1 food truck.
Right.
And so
So maybe we could broach it to her that we would like to
I
move
think
the
we could.
location.
Yeah, I mean,
think we
maybe,
could-
I went to every one of them and went and talked to the food trucks that came, and every one of them complained about the location down here. They wanted it, on further in the middle of the city. So that's why I was just bringing it up.
I
So
think,
you could make a motion to approve both the City Hall parking lot and the
Perfect.
farmer's market, or you could, postpone action on the item, and then we could ask Kathy and get with them and come back. I believe their first date they're asking for is April 21st, so we would have a meeting
Before that,
before
Yes.
that.
okay.
April 4th.
You guys figure out how you want to make that motion.
Well,
think
I
we should
also
just approve it.
want to know, I feel like it wasn't very well marketed last year or advertised. Like, a lot of people didn't know about it, and that's why I think one of the main reasons we didn't get a good turnout. So are we going to do anything differently this year to get the word out there, or no?
We could promote it more through the city, Facebook, and things
Sure,
like that.
liking and sharing by all of the board members and members of
Yeah.
the community is the best way to get it out there as far as that goes. It is on the website, but I don't know how many people would directly
True.
visit the site to find out if it was Food Truck Thursday or not.
But this would be up to them, to Kathy, to
They provide
not
the,
our-
promote it and.
They
I mean, you
provide-
want her
out.
to.
Huh?
You want her to.
No,
You-
I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, but is that going to fall to her, or is it going to fall to the city?
last year, they provided the graphics that said what food trucks were coming. And then once they provided that information, I shared it on Facebook and contacted the 2 other departments that have Facebook pages. And they shared it and
Okay.
liked it and, got it out that way to as many people as possible.
Okay.
So can we go ahead and approve it now and just say use both locations? Is everybody good with that?
You can
Just
make that
make-
motion and see what happens.
All right.
Yeah, that's how you find out.
I make a motion that we approve the request from Kathy Mullen, owner of Weenies and Paninis Food Truck, for the third Thursday food truck nights to be located in either the City Hall parking lot or the Farmers Market lot, starting April 21st through October 20th.
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Already.
I have a motion and a second to approve the request from Kathy Mullen for the third Thursday food trucks with 2 different locations. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an ordinance approving the program services contract agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri, and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement. Is that you again, Matt? Mr. Madsen? That's you, Matt?
No, that'd be me. I can talk on that. So the city is eligible to receive a grant award of up to $6,000 through the Department of Health and Senior Services for the collection of wastewater samples related to our sewer shed disease monitoring, really related to COVID. These are federal dollars as a grant through DHS. We currently perform regular testing for dozens of water quality parameters, including acidity, BODs, ammonia chloride, E. coli, sulfates, nitrogen, pH levels, and a slew of other things. So this was one more item for us to sample. This will allow us to, the utility to receive about $6,000 for the collection of those samples for the watershed. And so or sewer shed, what they did is they looked at it, tried to find how much COVID was in a particular sewer shed, and they used that information to help inform the state about how much COVID cases there were across different areas.
Thank you.
Be happy to answer questions the board may have.
I move for first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving a program services contract agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri, and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, DHSS, and authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement. An ordinance approving a program services contract agreement between the City of Oak Grove, Missouri, and the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, DHSS, and authorizing the mayor of the City of Oak Grove to execute the agreement.
I move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Brandy Carroll,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
Motion is approved and the ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an ordinance approving the final plat, Coons Edition, lots 1 and 2, and a plat of land located in the southwest 1/4 of Section 9, Township 48 North, Range 29 West, Oak Grove, Jackson County, Missouri.
Thank you, Mayor, that's me.
There you go.
This item is the final plat for Coons Edition located at 3401 South Broadway, which is the southernmost parcel inside city limits on the west side of F Highway, or east side of F Highway, excuse me. The existing parcel is 9.54 acres with an existing home. This plat will split the parcel into two parcels, a larger 6.54 acre and a 3-acre lot. The existing home is on the 3-acre lot. The existing home also has a septic system that is located on the 3-acre lot, and that's the minimum requirement for Jackson County, so it does comply. The preliminary plat for this lot split was approved by Planning and Zoning on January 4th, and the final plat was approved last week on March 15th. These parcels are zoned R1, and both new parcels will comply with that zoning requirements. This parcel is served by the City of Oak Grove water, but it does not have City of Oak Grove sewer. Like I said, it has a septic system. The F Highway is MoDOT, and there is no right-of-way or public improvements required with this plat from MoDOT. With that, I'll be able to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom. Does the board have any questions?
I move for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full bill 2 times?
An ordinance approving the final plat, Coons Edition, lots 1 and 2, a plat of land located in the southwest quarter of Section 9, Township 48 in Range 29W, Oak Grove, Jackson County, Missouri. An ordinance approving the final plat, Coons Edition, lots 1 and 2, a plat of land located in the southwest quarter of Section 9, Township 48N, Range 29W, Oak Grove, Jackson County, Missouri.
I move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor?
Yes.
Brandy Carroll?
Yes.
Kelly Netto?
Yes.
Brad Alexander?
Yes.
The motion is approved and the ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution regarding the projected non-binding tax rate for the City of Oak Grove, Missouri for 2022 tax year.
Thank you, Mayor. So state statute requires that we informally project a non-binding tax levy. The actual mill levy will be set in September by this board based on updated assessed valuation figures and the projected budget at the time.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the tax levy, the non-binding tax levy for 2022 tax year. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is a presentation regarding the street program. Tom?
Thank you, Mayor. I've recently completed my annual drive-in of all the streets in the city. And before you and also in your packet is the map with some colors showing the ratings. Typically, I rate the streets 1 through 10, but in the sake of not having 10 different colors on the map, I've kind of grouped them. So basically, the red ones are very poor, which need to be milled and overlaid this year. That's how bad they are. Poor could probably last another year or two. Fair, the green, are good condition, but could use some preventative maintenance like crack sealing or maybe even a slurry seal in the future. And then the black lines are either ones we've overlaid in the last few years or built by the development process. So this map on the left shows, I kind of just deleted everything color-wise except for the very poor condition streets. The one on the left represents what's out there today, and the one on the right, I've taken off what I've anticipated program for this year, so it makes a little bit of difference. On the left, the existing very poor conditions, about 36% of our system, and calculated that at the current projected bid unit prices, that's about $2.3 million of backlog. The one on the right, after we do this year's improvements, will reduce the deport about 25% of our system and have about 1.7 million in backlog. I'm going to kind of highlight some of the highlights of this year's program. So on the east side of town, I plan on doing Royal from 12th Street all the way down to 9th Street, plus a dead end that goes past 19th. 19th over to High Drive, and then there's a cul-de-sac and another segment that are probably one of the worst in the city. I also plan on doing Oak Ridge Drive from 12th Street all the way down to 19th Street, and then a couple streets in that area. On the north of that, over by Casey's, I plan on doing, we did 8th Street last year from Salem, and we planned on doing it all the way to Broadway, but there were some duplexes that were being built that had sewer cuts, so we deferred that section. So I'm going to pick up that section this year, plus there's 2 side streets, Harding and Park, that are in bad condition also. Moving to the west side of town, over in Oaks at Edgewood, I'm doing Powell from the existing good pavement that was recently put in just north of 8th Street, all the way down to 10th Terrace, and then 10th Terrace all the way over to Whitetail. And 10th Terrace, if you've ever driven that, is just, we've done some repairs over the years, and it's just like concrete, asphalt, so it's in really bad shape. 10th Street from Powell, the dead end east of Powell, all the way to Robinson, with the exception of the segment from Eagle to White, which was done a few years ago, which is in good condition. 8th Street from the dead end east of Powell to Powell. And you might be aware there was a really bad section that our crew did in concrete. That's the little section that's been cut out. I plan on leaving that concrete, not mill and overlaying that, so just leave that as is. And then also finally, there's a segment down on 24th Terrace. That's also on the west side of town, and it's the same way. It's been patched, and it's one of the worst streets we have in the city as well. And then swing that around to 24th Street. 24th Street is in good shape, so I don't plan on touching it this year with the funding. In addition to that, the city owns some parking lots that we're going to bid as ad alternates, and see how our bids come in and whether you guys want to approve funding those. The first one is a parking lot that is over by the old city hall between 12th and 13th. There's an alleyway there. It's in pretty bad shape. So we hopefully plan to mill and overlay that and stripe it. And then the Web Park parking is on the right screen. Costs. So last year our unit prices for asphalt was about 72. The low bidder was $72.81 a ton. I reached out to him. He said that so far within like a month period due to oil prices, they had about a $3.60 increase 1 month alone. So I've inflated that number from $72.81 to $80 a ton, which is, more than right around 10%. I know that Grain Valley recently bid their project, and they came in about 73, so I'm hopeful that ours are going to estimate that. I also increased the square foot cost for milling. So with that, the streets I mentioned come out to a total of $605,129. Our budget this year is $625, so that gives me about a $20,000 contingency to, if I get bad bids, then I can do these streets. If I get good bids, I could probably come back to the board and add some sections that need to be done this year. The parking lot at 13th Street, like I say, with striping, is about $23,366, and Web Park is $134,563. Now, Web Park includes complete mill and overlay. There's some really bad sections where the cars come together and park. There's kind of where the tires have shoved the concrete. We could probably get by with an edge mill around the curbs and then milling that section out and reduce that cost. So that's an opportunity, a possibility also, but like I say, we'll see where this thing comes. Schedule-wise, we're here tonight on the 21st. If I get your blessing, I plan on finishing up the contract documents and putting this thing out this week. We typically advertise for about 3 weeks, so hopefully receive bids on April 18th, which is my birthday, by the way. So maybe it'll be a good birthday present for good bids. After that, the contractor has a couple weeks to review the contract and sign them, so hopefully notice proceed around May 9th. Typically, I give them about 60 working or calendar days. That way they can fit it in their contract. I mean, last year's contract, I think, was maybe a week and a half's worth of work, so if you make the schedule too tight, they're going to get high bids. If you give them some flexibility, they can work it in where they want and maybe give us a little better bid. So that's all I had. So with that, I'll be able to answer any questions for you.
Thank you, Tom. So you said, depending on what the board says tonight, but it stated as a presentation only. Do you need a motion?
I don't know. I mean, we typically show this to you guys. I don't know if you've ever
Sure.
voted on a motion or not.
Yeah, a motion would be helpful, because these would be
Okay.
the streets that we'll put in the bid packets, and so that's
Sure.
what we'll be getting back for bids.
Usually have the spread spreadsheet in your bid packet that has all the streets listed.
Yes.
And of what you have there, I mean, are you anticipating much, like deep repair work needed? And would that just be in-house work or?
Yeah, there is some base failure. They're not really long strips like what we did in-house. We could do that in-house if we have time. And also typically, we can also, that's kind of the contingency. We could use up some of that with base asphalt. We'll have the contractor take it out on site and put new base in. So that's kind of why that 20,000 is a good contingency.
Can we make the school help pay for Webb Park? Don't they use it?
Yes.
Help pay.
Yeah, I thought we had this, not that it matters, but I feel like the Webb Park discussion came up in a separate
It was in
conversation.
the, I
It
was
was in
actually
the
getting-
park.
It was in
It was in
the
the park
parks
board.
because we were talking about
We
your
were gonna
guys'
see how
budget.
much-
And about building a new parking lot, and we said, shouldn't you repair that parking lot?
Yeah,
So does
correct.
that not come out of the parks budget at all?
I think, and Scott, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe we were just having to go out for bids to see what we could get it at in addition, or am I crazy?
As far as the one by the school, by the primary, is that the one you're talking about in addition to the one that's in Webb or?
No, I'm talking about Webb Park.
Yeah, so we were curious about what the numbers would be because we got an estimate and the estimate I received was 170,000. So then we're hoping through the larger scale bidding of Public Works, that would get us into a better, more competitive number.
Yeah. So, but this, if we went forward with the Webb Park, that would come out of the park budget, not,
It's out of the capital improvement budget.
yeah. So, yes.
All right.
Yeah, if you recall, the board had put aside, there was a couple of park projects. One of them was a new parking lot down
was a
by
couple
the
of-
basketball
we left a
court.
big-
Yeah, and a
big
couple other
chunk of
things.
money.
Yeah, and left
See how much this would be.
budgeted, but somewhat unallocated was about $135,000.
Yeah.
And so depending on where this would come in, maybe we get some savings, as Tom mentioned, on edge milling, that 135 possibly, would get lower. But yeah, it would come out of the capital improvement fund of the 135,000 that was allocated, if that's what the board wishes.
Right,
Currently, if
that's
you
what I
get
thought.
bids back, or if you have something else the board would like to direct staff to do, we'd be happy to get bids on those items as well.
Needs to be done.
I make a motion, we approve the 2022 street preservation program that Tom went over with us.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move forward with the 2022 street program. Any discussion?
I'm sorry,
Sure.
sorry. So the 605 would not include the parking lots then, right?
Correct.
No.
Okay.
Is your motion for all of it?
It's for what the
Okay,
Tom suggests.
okay,
But your budget's 625, so
right.
I guess I'm sorry, so I'm confused now. Would we or would we not do the parking lots?
That would be, we would bid them as alternates, and that would come probably from a different source. Because like I said, the 625 is earmarked for streets, but I mean,
Yeah.
it depends what you guys want to do. And if you
Well,
remember,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, because when you said alternate, so initially I was thinking, usually like when I think alternate, I think like if there's room in the budget, but clearly there's not room in the 625 to include those. So
Correct.
they're really a separate project, not necessarily an alternate.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess,
Right.
But
And
you're
if-
getting the bid all in one, correct?
From the same.
Yes.
From the same, at
Yeah.
the same time, which
Yes.
makes the cost go down because they're here.
but as long as the bids are good on the 605 budget or 625 budget, we'd move forward with that work and then we'd have to address the parking lots separately
Correct.
based on what you get back. Okay.
But you're hoping to do it all, them coming back with bids to include the parking lots as well.
Right, we would get a better cost since they'd already be mobilized on site, so, especially since we're doing Oak Ridge Drive, they'd be right there. So they would have all their equipment there, they wouldn't have to transport it on site. So we might get if we bid it at the same time, we'd probably get a better price on it.
Okay, okay. That's good.
All right, I still have a motion and a second, and we were in discussion. So any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant and collection systems improvement project by CAT Excavation.
That's me also.
That's
So
all
this is-
about you tonight.
This is change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant improvements with CAT excavation. A little bit of history, this project was originally bid back on January 21st of 2020 and awarded to CAT on February 18th of 2020 for $793,535. That award included a $25,000 anticipated grit removal that we ended up not using. So the numbers are kind of confusing. So actually, the adjusted amount of the award was $1,768,535. Change order 1 was approved on February 16th of 2001 in the amount of $32,033.61, which included 6 work change directives. This change order is in the amount of $126,485.49, and this has 8 work change directives. And it also adjusts the contract completion date times due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All the work change directives are in detail in your bid packet. So the total contract amount, once, if change order 2 is approved, would bring the total contract price to $1,927,64.10. So with that, I will happy answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment for the project of CAT excavation. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? What was your,
Aye, sorry.
okay. Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the annexation of the unincorporated territory located in Jackson County, Missouri, all that part of south of Section 32, Township 49, Range 29, and the extension of the corporate limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri, and the pursuant to Section 71.012 of the revised statutes of Missouri as amended. Mr. Randall?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is a public hearing for voluntary annexation of about 79 acres of ag land. It's located west of the stations subdivision and east of Oaks of Edgewood. So you can see it lies right between those 2 subdivisions and south of Fifth Street. State statute requires that the Board of Aldermen make 3 affirmative findings to approve an annexation request. First, the property must be contiguous and compact to existing city limits. In this case, the property is almost entirely surrounded and abutted by annexed property. The second finding is that the property, the annexation has to be reasonable and necessary for the proper development of the city. Again, this property does lie between 2 existing subdivisions and includes multiple street stub-outs from those subdivisions into this subdivision. And thirdly, the city has the ability to furnish normal municipal services within a reasonable time frame. So the current property either abuts or has directly intersecting the property both water and sewer service lines already. State statute provides that upon approval of the ordinance, the annexation will become effective unless a written objection of either 5% of the qualified voters in the city or 2 qualified voters in the area to be annexed is received within 14 days of the public hearing. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have on the annexation. The annexation request was done by Ward Development, and I believe they do have a representative here, Brian Ron, if you have any questions for them as well.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions for city staff? Nothing? Members of the public who wish to offer testimony regarding the annexation, please step up to the microphone at this time. State your name and address for the record. I will now open the public hearing. If there are no comments, I will close the public hearing. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding an ordinance approving the annexation of the unincorporated territory located in Jackson County, Missouri, all of that part of the south half of Section 32, Township 49, Range 29, and the extension of the corporate limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri, all pursuant to Section 71.012 of the revised statutes of Missouri as amended.
announced.
I move for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Are we still in the public hearing?
No, we're out of the public hearing. You're fine what you did. I need a second, and then I'll ask for discussion.
Second.
Okay? We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Any discussion?
Just real quick, so it'll come in with this, carrying the same zoning that it had in the county, is that right? It'd be-
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Under our ordinances, anything that's in the county, when it gets annexed in, retains the same zoning it had. At that point, the applicant would need to request a rezoning if they wanted to use the property for something other than ag.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full bill 2 times?
An ordinance providing for the annexation of unincorporated territory located in Jackson County, Missouri, all that part of the south half of Section 32, Township 49, Range 29, and the extension of the corporate limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri, all pursuant to Section 71.012 of the revised statutes of Missouri as amended. An ordinance providing for the annexation of unincorporated territory located in Jackson County, Missouri, all that part of the south half of Section 32, Township 49, Range 29, and the extension of the corporate limits of the city of Oak Grove, Missouri, all pursuant to Section 71.012 of the revised statutes of Missouri as amended.
I move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of the ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Brandy Carroll,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
Motion is approved and the ordinance is adopted. The next item on the agenda are information reports. Mr. Randall?
No report, thank you, Mayor.
John? Thank you. Mark? All right. Captain? Tom?
Okay, I'll make a report.
Okay.
I know a couple meetings ago, I reported that our water cellar up on 1200 North H Highway was out of service because of a part. Got that part in last week, installed it, another part failed. Fortunately, we were able to get it locally. My guys gave the thing a good battle today, and about 5 hours ago, they got it back in service, so we are back in service.
Nice.
And also, every 5 years, we have to have our water towers inspected. Last year, Frick Tower was inspected. This year, we're doing the standpipe down here on the south part of town. It is Wednesday. When they do the inspections, it needs to be fully drained of water. So right now, they are drawing down the standpipe. So there are booster pumps, so if something, if there shouldn't be any disruption of service anywhere in the city, but just be aware that they are draining that tower, and there could be some issues coming up, but that should be Wednesday. Then we'll fill it back up. So,
Thank you. Kim?
No report.
Scott? No report. Kelly?
No report.
Jeremy?
No report.
Brandy?
No report.
Brad?
No report.
I would like to congratulate again Officer Cox and you, Captain Paris, and then Lieutenant Leitner. So, what's that? Oh, Sergeant. Did I say it wrong?
You said
He's Sergeant, sorry. See, I tried to remember it all and I didn't, so correct that. All right. I'm looking for a motion for executive session, please. There's a lot of numbers.
I make a motion, we adjourn to executive session 610.021, 610.021, 1, 2, and 12.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session 610.021, 1, 2, and 12. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Brandy Carroll,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Brad Alexander.
Yes.
We are adjourned.